The story begins with our main character sitting on the bleacher. His name is Lin Hao, a male orphan. He might look like a middle school student, but he used to keep his age a secret. He's currently working as a streamer on a live broadcasting platform. He tends to pretend to be a high school student and entertain those bored young ladies who often give him gifts to support him. He's not introducing himself to anyone. He made an introduction statement just to make sure his mind was clear. Otherwise, he'd never believe the scene unfolding before him. At this moment, he transmitted to somewhere else. He was shocked as he saw strong lightning above them. For him, this scene is enough to shatter all his beliefs. Suddenly, a silhouette appeared from the sky. A monster then comes out from it saying that she's Agatha Nicholas, the great ancient god. People were scared and thought that this might be the end of the world. Some of them also expected that it was just a 4D projection. Lin Hao, on the other hand, was scared since the voice of the monster was springing out of nowhere in his mind. Agatha then told them all that they should feel honored and excited. Respond to my summons and become my glorious warriors. Fight for me, she added. People ran away, wanting to escape, but then there was a barrier that blocked their way. Lin Hao also panicked, and they heard Agatha informing them that the protective membrane around them blocked the invasion of the chaotic void that would make it impossible for the mortals to escape. I, the merciful God, will grant you 10 minutes to come to terms with reality. 10 minutes later, I shall return and assign the first quest to you. Be prepared, Agatha stated, and vanished, leaving the people shivers in fear. Lin Hao was sweating. He feels like he is a scene in a novel. He looked at the people and noticed them trying to reach someone over the phone, but they got annoyed by the fact that there was no signal at all. Lin Hao was wondering why this thing happened to him. He's still young and hasn't fully enjoyed his life, so he can't believe that he was dragged into this mess. Suddenly, a mad guy grabbed the bleacher beside Lin Hao. The guy threw it to the sky, asking Agatha to let them free now, but then the bleacher just bumped into the barrier and bounced back to the guy. It created a strong explosion that almost harmed Lin Hao. The area was smoking. They went to the guy and saw him bleeding. They approached him, but he wasn't responding, so they wondered if this guy was already dead. Lin Hao was just silent, but he knew at this point that this would be dangerous. He realizes that messing around in such a situation really can get one killed. He gets his phone, but it's really no signal in the area, so he cannot think of a way to get out of this mess. While checking his phone, it suddenly brightens. There was a notification that appeared saying, "This is a gift from the distant future. Hope that you can go further this time." After the message, there was a wheel on the screen. It was written on the phone that this thing is called a talent lottery, and Lin Hao had 5 draws remaining. He was confused upon seeing it. He checked the people's reaction, and when he saw them busy with something else, he concluded that this thing only appeared on his phone. He then looked back at his phone, thinking that this might be his cheating plugin. He immediately tapped to start to draw, and the moment the wheel spun, there was different kinds of colors popped out. When the wheel stops spinning, a blinding light emerges, making Lin Hao tightly close his eyes. After a few seconds, he felt a comfortable feeling. He then opened his eyes with a smile on his face, as he was sure that this thing was really his cheating plugin. He looked at the people and realized that no one noticed the thing that happened to him, as it turned out that he was the only one who could see it. Right now, he suddenly feels a lot more confident and not flustered at all. He then decided to check what features this cheating plugin provided with him, starting with the white talent bars. The white bar is a trash can. It's a common tag. This trash can enables him to digest the worst food, even if it's poop. When eating, he'll feel like he's enjoying the ultimate delicacy. The next one is also a common tag called Master of Peeing. With this talent, he can pee farther than anyone else, making him look cool when peeing alongside others. Indeed, a useless talent. Of course, Lin Hao was disappointed, thinking that the first 2 talents are bizarre talents. He then concludes that it is normal to be somewhat useless, knowing that both are the lowest rarity. But he was expecting that the third one, which is the blue talent, definitely won't be useless. But then, when he opened it, the talent is called an Invigorated Man. It is an excellent tag. By this talent, Lin Hao is exceptionally talented and always invigorated. Lin Hao was still disappointed, as it felt even worse than the white talents. And now, he was afraid, thinking that the gold and red ones are just as bad. He decided to check out first the one that had the highest rarity, and it turned out that the talent was a game player, a mythical tag. With this talent, he possesses a simple yet practical game template. He's incredibly bold, and no creature can scare him. God and monsters are all just NPCs in his eyes. He should make sure to check the prompt. The weaknesses of NPCs are completely exposed. After checking it, Lin Hao was clueless about its benefits. He suddenly flinched when he realized that he had begun to be inexplicably confident ever since he got the cheating plugin. He initially thought it was the cheating plugin that gave him confidence, but now it seems like the confidence originates from this red talent. It can forcibly help him eliminate fear and regain composure. At last, he was satisfied with this talent, but he wondered if that was all there was to it. He then deduces that he might have overestimated the power of this cheating plugin. He then checked the epic tale. It was the kept man. With this talent, women stronger than him have an initial liking of 50 points towards him, some men with special preferences included, so he must watch his back. Lin Hao was smiling upon reading it, knowing that it was really true that many people dream about being kept by a wealthy woman. But then, he feels a bit weird with this talent. His phone suddenly vanished, leaving a golden strip of lights. He panicked when he felt something unusual. His head hurts. He tried to walk despite that he knew he didn't have anywhere to go. He was annoyed thinking that he felt awful after he checked all the talents. But since it is a cheating plugin, he decided to endure the pain. His head still hurts and his vision is getting blurry. He flinched when he saw something on the people. There was a system interface that appeared from the people in front of him. When he stares closely at one of the people nearby, he finds out that it is the participant's information. On the information tag, he can see the person's status and a prompt. From the first guy, the prompt stated that this guy is as weak as him, and to beat him, he just needs to poke his eyes and kick his groin. Lin Hao also stares at the lady. The prompt stated that this one's even weaker than him. Beating her would be a breeze. Lin Hao also had his own system interface. It was said that he is an ordinary adult male human. A healthy man with 3 strength, 3 physique, 2 agility, and 8 mentality. Of course, his rank is still 0. The prompt was questioning him if he was cheating since it detected that he had a lot of talents. Right now, he was sure that this system interface was a character interface, the real function of the game player's talent. He waves his hand expecting that the panel will immediately disappear. He was glad when he confirmed that he was right since it would be annoying for him if this thing was always in front of him. He decided to open the panel a few more times to get familiarized with it. As he was doing it, there was a lovely lady walked in front of him. He then stares at the lady and finds out that she's a neutral ordinary adult female human with a healthy condition, 5 strength, 4 physique, 5 agility, and 4 points mentality. The prompt stated that this girl might look delicate, but she's a trained fighter, capable of knocking Lin Hao out easily with her punches. Her total attributes exceed Lin Hao's, making her stronger than him, and his kept man talent is kicking in now. Lin Hao was poker-faced thinking that the prompt is quite practical. At this moment, the lady glanced at him and he looked at her back. The lady suddenly smiled at him, and Lin Hao noticed some changes from the lady's panel. From a neutral female human, it became a friendly female human. Lin Hao smiled knowing that his kept man talent was doing its thing. The lady then walked toward him with her eyes shimmering. "Hey little bro, are your mom and dad not around?" she asked. Lin Hao smiles while thinking that this lady has mistaken him for a lost child just because he's a baby face. He observes the lady and notices that she remains alert to the changes around her, indicating that she's also feeling uneasy. Even so, she chose to care about Lin Hao first, so Lin Hao became satisfied with his kept man talent. Since he didn't respond to the lady thought that he was scared, so she told him not to worry since she's not a bad person. "No, I didn't mean it. Miss, I'm an orphan," Lin Hao replied. He also thinks of an idea to develop a good relationship with the lady since she's a girl who can fight and is kind-hearted. Besides, his cheating plugin doesn't give him much combat power. The lady was shocked upon hearing from Lin Hao that he was an orphan. She apologized to him and he then answered not to worry since she's not the only one who asked him the same question. "Miss, are we trapped here?" he asked. The lady then replied, "I guess so, after that guy who claimed to be an ancient god." She didn't continue her words. She just happened Lin Hao's hair and told him not to worry. Surprisingly, she promised to protect Lin Hao at all costs. Lin Hao was glad, but he already expected it to happen. He then gave thanks to the lady and they both held hands. They started walking while the lady asked for his name and if he was in a middle school. He then gave his name and permitted the lady to call him Little Mouse. He then also lied that he was in his first year of high school. He was used to saying it since he really told everyone he was a freshman. "Little Mouse, fate brought us to meet. My last name is Lin too, and my name is Lin Zioyan," the lady stated. She then also permitted Lin Hao to call her Zioyan Rian. While they were talking, there was a man approached Zioyan. "Miss Lin, we're still not clear about the current situation. There could be dangers lurking everywhere. Please don't run around like this or you may get into trouble," the guy said while walking towards Zioyan. Zioyan called him Y and told him not to worry since she was confident that she wouldn't run into any danger with the skills she had. Wai then asked her who's the kid behind her. Xiaoan then whispered to him, informing him that the kid with her was an orphan and still in high school, and she believes that surviving in this environment might be tough for Lin Hao, which is why she wanted to help him. Wai doesn't like her idea since they can barely protect themselves. Xiaoan then asked Lin Hao to move closer while saying that Lin Hao might be helpful in the future. She patted Lin Hao's hair while telling Wai that the kid was well behaved. "Come on, show him," she said, and Lin Hao then widely smiled and greeted Wai. Wai then agreed to what Xiaoan wanted. At the same time, Lin Hao concludes that the muscular guy in front of him is Xiaoan's bodyguard, and because of it, he concludes that the lady is not only tougher than him but also richer. He feels he won the lottery meeting a beautiful lady with brain and wealth. He then stares at Wai to check his self-information. Wai is still in a neutral state. He was healthy with 6 strength, 5 physique, 5 agility, and 3 mentality. The prompt stated that this guy knows boxing and seems pretty tough. The panel also warned Lin Hao to stay away from this guy, as it was said that when the law is no longer around, some people might do dangerous things. Wai's attributes are all high, deserving to be a bodyguard, but the warning prompt of the system seemed to be confusing for Lin Hao. All of a sudden, a loud buzz disturbed them. It turned out that Agatha came back. She greeted all the mortals and called them as chosen ones. Agatha believes that most of the people realized what happened just now. According to her, these people all come from a world of absolute civilization. Without being baptized by blood and fire, they can't yet be called warriors. So, their first quest will be a trial through a dungeon instance. They will be randomly placed in various instances in groups of 10 to combat monsters. While Agatha declares it, Wai stares at Lin Hao thinking that this kid would be a drag. Lin Hao, on the other hand, was dumbfounded, thinking that Agatha was so outrageous. Because of the system interface, he figured out that Agatha is an ordinary juvenile ancient god. Agatha's attributes are unknown, but there was a prompt. It was said that Agatha is incredibly powerful, and as a weak individual, Lin Hao can't see any of its attributes. But then, he was lucky, as it turned out that Agatha was a female, so his kept man talent seems to be coming into play. And Agatha is now friendly towards him. Lin Hao was surprised, as he never thought that his talent would work on ancient gods. He then smiled, thinking that this would be pretty good for him. However, out of concern and pity for some of you, I, the merciful ancient god Agatha Nicholas, have resolved not to let my beloved warrior die in vain, so death in the instance isn't real death, but the pain that's supposed to be there won't lessen at all. Fight, I'm looking forward to your performance, Agatha stated while the participants were surrounded by purple smoke, including Lin Hao. Meanwhile, Lin Hao woke up and found himself lying on the ground with lots of spider webs around. He immediately got up and saw the other people murmuring in front of him. They mentioned that this dungeon had a spider. The people in front of him are a total of 9 people, and he realizes that both Xiaoan and Wai aren't in his group. He felt nervous since he didn't know any time in his time. He stood and wondered why his team was making such a big fuss about spiders. 3 huge spiders then appeared, and he figured out why his team was so scared. One man then trampled onto the spider and said, "Why panic? Everyone, calm down. It's just a few spiders." According to this guy, apex predators have evolved over hundreds of millions of years to get to the top of the food chain. And as long as they utilize their greatest weapons, intelligence, and unity, they can surely defeat even 100 more spiders. Lin Hao then checked the guy's information, and he found out that this guy was only slightly stronger than him. But unfortunately, he was not interested in Lin Hao. But the system suggested he find a way to pique this person's interest. This guy has 4 strength, 4 physique, 2 agility, and 3 mentality. Lin Hao was nervous, thinking that this guy was the strongest on their team, and it was too bad for him knowing that his talent wouldn't come into play. Plus, it's not easy for him to develop connections with a man. At this moment, they heard a rumbling noise coming from the ground. Lin Hao and the others stare at it with a tense feeling. It turned out that there was just a thing that appeared from the underground. And Lin Hao concludes that this would be the information of their first quest. It was said on the plaque that their first quest was the spider matriarch's lair. During the breeding season, the spider matriarch becomes extremely aggressive, so the people should be more careful. There was a note on the lower part stating that this instance has been specially modified. The monsters have limited intelligence and will stop chasing them once they leave the warning area, but that's not how it works in the real world. Lin Hao crossed his arms while thinking that the humidity in this cave suited insects, and he suspected that there were even bigger and fiercer creatures waiting deeper inside. His teammates were hesitant to go deeper as they were also scared. Theoretically, Lin Hao concludes that it is best to enter small teams so that they can help each other without making too much noise. But since he looks too young, his suggestion might be unconvincing, and his team would probably not listen to him, so he decided to just see how things unfold. If that ancient god wasn't lying, he concludes that charging in recklessly is actually feasible since they won't die anyway. While discussing, they heard a clattering sound. Together with it is Agatha's voice saying that she granted them a special prompt since this would be their first quest. As per Agatha, they must enter the cave, struggle with all their might to survive, and try to reach deeper inside. If they just stay in the same area for more than a minute, the spider matriarch will directly attack them. Upon hearing the prompt, they all become scared. The people were clueless about what they should do. The man in front then suggested that they must go inside since they have weapons after all. Good thing, people listened to him. Lin Hao smiled, thinking that he might as well go in and broaden his horizons, knowing that they won't really die in this place. As they entered deeper, they saw lots of spider webs. Speaking of which, the ancient god said there would be 10 people in a group. Why do we only have 9 here? The guy said. The man beside him then pointed at Lin Hao, saying that they just let the kids stay at the back as he believed Lin Hao was a useless one. This guy also believes that they will be doomed if they let a kid lead the group, thinking that Lin Hao is probably weaker than a woman. Lin Hao was touching the spider web. The guy notices that Lin Hao is standing so far from the back, so he deduces that Lin Hao will be the first to be eaten once the spider matriarch comes after them. The other guy was sad since it was not a bad idea for him. What's wrong? At a life or death moment like this, we need to use every trick in the book. Or do you want to replace him to bring up the fear? The guy with the brown hair said. While they were walking, none of them noticed that there was a spider following them. The lady in front of Lin Hao was chasing in fear. Shockingly, this lady was suddenly attacked by the spider. Her blood splattered on Lin Hao. Lin Hao was dumbfounded at first. He saw blood on his hand and stared back at the lady who was still attacked by the spider. He then uttered, "She kicked the bucket so soon." The lady bathed in her own blood. Her teammates were terrified, and the man earlier felt something creepy. "Everyone, let's split up and leave here first," he said. They then run away, which annoys Lin Hao, thinking that that guy has never been a leader, as he believes that they will surely die if they split up. The spider started moving. Lin Hao stood still, staring at the spider, realizing that he was the first one in trouble among his team. He then grabbed a rock, thinking that he could not run since it would be trouble if he showed his back to the enemy. At the same time, he wasn't sure if he could hurt the spider with only a rock, so he was thinking of using some self-defense. He imagined a sliding tackle, believing that it won't probably work on spiders. And since he didn't have any other choice, he decided to hit the spider with the rock. But as he was about to do it, he flinched when he saw the spider become friendly toward him. It turned out that the spider right in front of him was a very weak monster, but it could crush Lin Hao easily. It's actually a female, so his kept man talent has kicked in again. He then smiled and stared at the spider. Right now, he was thinking that the kept man talent had surprised him once again. But then, he flustered the moment he saw the spider nuzzling his leg. He was thinking of taking advantage of this spider's friendliness and launching a surprise attack, but then the spider was acting cute toward him, which stopped him from attacking it. In the end, he dropped the rock and wondered why he couldn't bring himself to do it. It's just that he can't bear to do unethical things. He started to walk while the spider was still following him. For him, the spider is totally friendly to him, so it was morally wrong if he would attack it when it already lowers its guard. This is definitely not because I felt for her, definitely not, he uttered while walking alone deeper into the cave together with the spider. 3 minutes later, after observing for a while, Lin Hao gained a clearer understanding of the strength of the spider monster. He figured out that the spider was indeed much stronger than him in terms of speed and strength. He was sure of it since he tried to run and the spider could keep up with him. It's just that this spider is not vastly superior to humans. Just looking at the attribute panel, she's even slightly inferior to Lin Zioyan's bodyguard. Also, by comparing different panels, he found that the date on the attribute panel is very accurate. For instance, her strength is nearly double his, and her agility is triple that of his. So even if he resorts to a sneak attack, he concludes that it is still very likely that he can't beat her. From earlier up until now, the spider is still looking at him with cuteness in her eyes. For Lin Hao, this spider monster is indeed stronger than humans, but she's not powerful enough to instantly kill someone. She managed to kill the girl earlier in an instant because she was hostile and launched a surprise attack. This made him realize why the ancient god arranged things this way. Since they are warriors, their hands will inevitably be stained with blood. Lastly, attributes like strength, agility, and physique are pretty straightforward. But he doesn't know what mentality means and why is his mentality attribute so high. He then concludes that it might be because of the Invigorated Man talent. Right now, he wondered if a high mentality attribute would give him superpowers, like transforming something with his mind. But he was sure it wasn't possible. He then told himself to forget about it and stop overthinking things. Since he has the kept man talent, he was sure that none of the spider monsters would attack him in this cave, and he might as well explore the cave a bit more. He deduces that there might be someone who would unleash their potential at the critical monster and exterminate the spiders ahead, and after that, he can find a chance to get to know them. After a few minutes, he reached the area where some of his comrades were. But unfortunately, most of them died already. As he ventured deeper, he didn't see any living people, only dead ones. Along the way, out of their group of 10, right or 9 have already died. He knew from the very beginning that his team would surely be in danger once they split up. There were spiders around, but none of them dared to attack him. He kneeled on the ground as he saw a hole, then immediately jumped. He landed safely and saw a dead spider on the ground. Lin Hao believes that only those who are truly skilled can survive now. There are some remains of the spider in this part of the cave, and there was also a dead man. Even so, Lin Hao was impressed since this dead man still managed to kill 2 spiders before he died. At this time, he was wondering what would his teammates think if they saw the spiders following him like a boss. He wasn't scared of the spiders at all. In fact, he believes that these spiders might be able to help him get out of this cave alive. Because of it, he was grateful for his kept man talent that really comes in handy. After a few moments of walking, he still didn't reach the end of the cave. He was thinking that the cave was so huge and might be endless. Then, he saw something that surprised him. There was a treasure box in front of him and some crystals. In the treasure box, there was a lady spider sleeping, and the box was wrapped with a slight spider web. This spider lady seemed to be the spider matriarch, and her beauty was just like a human. The lady spider slowly opened her eyes, making Lin Hao see her red eyeball. She instantly saw Lin Hao standing from afar, so she immediately grabbed her weapon. She took a step and positioned herself in front with a serious look. As per the panel, this spider is very friendly toward Lin Hao, extremely friendly, and even wants to take things further. She's only a level 1 spider with healthy condition, 13 points strength, 9 points physique, 16 points agility, and 6 points mentality. Lin Hao was speechless. He thought that this lady spider might be the ultimate boss, and also, he was sure that this spider wouldn't hurt him since his skill was instantly activated. He also remembered that the ancient god's mission only said to make an effort to go deep into the cave. It didn't mean they had to defeat the monsters, so he concluded that he technically completed the mission. At this moment, the spider behind him suddenly pushed him toward the lovely spider. Lin Hao was confused as he thought that this spider was hurting him. He believes that the kept man's skill should still be intact, so he cannot believe why the spider is hostile toward him now. He tried to resist, but several spiders carried him, bringing him to the spider matriarch. At this point, he thought that the spiders were very smart, leading him to the spider matriarch internationally. He flinched the moment he realized that the small spiders might be trying to set him up with the spider matriarch. He was annoyed since he saw these spiders as his sisters, while these spiders wants him to be their dad. The small spiders dropped him in front of the spider matriarch. The spider matriarch's weapon started to disappear. She then took a step toward Lin Hao, and Lin Hao panicked and said, "My name is Lin Hao, just call me a little mouse." "What should I call you, my lady?" Lin Hao was shocked the moment the spider matriarch touched his face. He was nervous, but he forced himself not to show it to the lady. He then touched her wrists and told her that her hands were cold. But the truth is that he doesn't want the spider to touch him, but instead say something. The lady spider suddenly shushed him and shockingly ripped off his clothes. Lin Hao asked her to stop and wait for a moment. Many paths lie ahead, but safety is paramount. Endangering yourself would truly distress your loving family. Think carefully, he added. But then, the spider covered his mouth with the spider silk. The lady was blushing. She tied Lin Hao's hand with her spider silk, including his feet, to avoid him from moving. Lin Hao still tried to scream, hoping that someone would help him. Meanwhile, the spider matriarch was done with her purpose. Lin Hao originally thought that his years of innocence were about to be ruined in this cave, but he never expected that the matriarch only stripped him off, only to personally dress him in a garment made of her own spider silk. He felt relieved and told himself that it was good for him that he didn't expect too much. He glanced at the spider matriarch, who was now busy doing something with her silk. It turned out that her greatest desire was just to help someone change clothes, which is a bit too weird. "Thanks for the gift, my lady. How about I help my lady clean up the room as a token of appreciation?" Lin Hao said. Until now, the spider matriarch still didn't talk. She touched Lin Hao's face once again and smiled at him. She then pinpointed the ground and let Lin Hao see the treasure box. "My lady, it's been said that items left in the box for too long without being aired out can easily become moldy. You have difficulty moving on your own, so let me help you," Lin Hao said. As he moved closer to the box, he was hoping that he could see valuable items inside, thinking that this box was the only thing that looked valuable in this cave. He touched the box, but before he could open it, he saw the voice of Agatha. She said that she never thought someone could actually reach the end without killing a single monster and still get a reward. Lin Hao immediately looked at the spider matriarch to check if she also heard the voice of Agatha. The spider matriarch was chirping while showing him the cloth she made for him, so it meant she didn't hear the voice at all. As he looked around, he noticed that the small spiders were sleeping peacefully, since they aren't disturbed. Lin Hao then also believes that he's the only one who can hear the voice of the ancient god. "I actually did such an amazing thing. This is all thanks to the guidance of the ancient god. Speaking of which, will there be additional rewards for completing the mission perfectly like this?" he asked, and Agatha then said, "Kudos for achieving the end level reward that is impossible to obtain in theory." With what she said, Lin Hao was confused if it was the response to his question. He then becomes excited, thinking that there would really be a reward for him. The treasure box in front of him slowly opened and a blinding light emerged, making him cover his eyes with his arms. With the effect he saw, he was expecting that the ancient god would give him a legendary golden spear. But then, it turned out to be a book. And according to Agatha, it's a golden class exchange tome of epic quality. Once Lin Hao touches it, he will receive detailed information on the book and activate it with his thoughts. Lin Hao smiled while trying to reach the book, thinking that the ancient god didn't mind him taking advantage of shortcuts to gain additional benefits as long as he is able to exploit the rules. The moment he touched the book, a golden light emerged, and the words written on the book transmitted inside his brain. During the process, he discovered that this book could grant him a skill recorded in the book. It's like choosing a class in an online game, but it only gave him one choice. That is the Monster Contract Master. As the name implies, he can enter into a contract with monsters and have them serve him. The ritual of the contract is simple, but one's mentality must surpass that of the other, and the other must not resist for it to be successful. The origin of the ancient god, the story behind the book, and even the origin of the class were not mentioned. Just purely introducing the skill of the class. He was disappointed knowing that the chance to gather some background information was gone. Currently, he's only able to contract with one monster. If he wants to contract with more, he must cultivate to become stronger. But then, he doesn't have any idea how to cultivate after all, since the book didn't mention it, which made him frustrated. In battle, summon contract monsters and control them with their mind to carry out various actions. While imagining it to happen, Lin Hao becomes excited, thinking that it is truly despicable. Definitely a justice that he believes suits him perfectly. Although a true warrior should wield a giant sword and slash through everything, he actually prefers the feeling of hiding in the back and watching the contracted monster tear apart opponents, limbs flying everywhere. A system interface appeared in front of him and asked him if he would like to exchange his class. He then told himself that he, Lin Hao, no longer just immortal from now on. He then tapped yes, and a magic circle where he was standing appeared and golden lights wrapped around his body. He was confident that he was now a mortal who hid behind monsters. Something imprinted on his hand. He then checked it and believed that it was the way to use class skills. He was satisfied with the class change. With just a single thought, he can roughly determine the difficulty of the contract with the monsters in front of him. The spiders around were just easy to contract. They are just minor monsters from the instance. Their mentality is far weaker than him. Surrendered to his charm. It makes sense to him now that the contract difficulty is easy. He suddenly turned around without knowing that the spider matriarch moved closer to him. In the end, he almost bumped his cheek at the spider's chest. He then asked the spider if there was something she needed from him. The lady was chirping while moving her hand, but Lin Hao didn't have any idea what she was trying to say. He then flinched the moment he saw that the contract difficulty of this spider boss was also easy. Her mentality is as high as 6 points, only 2 points less than him, theoretically speaking. The difficulty of him contracting her should be much harder than those common spiders with only 2 points mentality. Her level and attributes combined are much stronger than his, and he thinks that his kept man skill is still in action. If that is the case, when he makes a contract with a monster in the future, he concludes he should choose those matriarch monsters who have a slightly weaker mentality than him but are much stronger in strength. Dear ancient god, since I am now a monster contract master, can I make a contract with my lady and then take her out of this instance? He asked. He then heard Agatha thinking for a moment, but he was patiently feeling. The truth is that Lin Hao feels a little sorry for this lady spider who has been staying in this dark and depressing place to guard the instance. He knew this feeling since he grew up alone since childhood, eating alone, and having surgery alone. He's not saying that being alone is bad, he has already adjusted to loneliness. Before he can end his explanation, Agatha says, doing it like this doesn't really go against the rules. He was so happy upon hearing it, and he even screamed that Agatha is the best ancient god. He then activates the contract and the magic circle appears once again. He then informed the lady spider that they would now be behind with the contract. Since there is a chance to make a contract with an instance boss, there is no reason for him to pass this opportunity. After all, no one knows if the next instance will encounter opposite-sex monsters. My lady, rest assured, from today onwards, you will no longer be alone, he uttered. From now on, he knows that the lady spider will help him in fighting and get her experience as well. He was sure that with their combination, a bright future awaited them. They both connected their index fingers and Lin Hao widely smiled as he confirmed that the contract really worked. The lady spider slowly vanished and directly went to Lin Yao's shadow. He then remembered that once the contract was made, the monster's body hid directly in his shadow, making it easy for him to summon it with a single thought. Agatha then spoke once again. She said that the instance boss had disappeared and the instance would end soon. Everyone will return to the original area in 1 minute. Because of this, Lin Hao wondered if his contract with the instance boss caused the instance to end early. Perhaps, the ancient god's purpose was to thoroughly explore the depths, and once they accomplished that, the instance ended. He feels a little bit annoyed as he doesn't have enough clues to make a judgment. Despite this, the spider matriarch's strength is at 13 points, which is more than double that of the Muay Thai expert. Additionally, her agility is remarkable 3 times stronger. At least for now, no one should have an easier time completing tasks than him. He stares at the spider matriarch and sees her moving to his shadow. Right now, he can still sense the spider matriarch's feelings, but he knows that she can't sense his thoughts. It's a one-way shield. After a minute, Agatha then declared that the instance had ended, so the teleportation had begun. Lin Hao was inside a purple cylinder and was brought back to the main area together with the other people. Agatha then said that the beginner's quest had ended and the reward for killing monsters would be credited to their personal terminals in the form of points. As per Agatha, by simply thinking of the name of the ancient god Agatha Nicholas, a blue light screen will appear in front of them. Many participants immediately tried it while Agatha informed them that this screen was their personal terminal, displaying information that only they could see. With it, they can check their basic attributes, point status, and task rankings. Some men who got points were very happy, while Lin Hao was looking around and noticed that he couldn't see anyone else's panel. Agatha then gave them an hour to adapt and team up in order to survive better in the upcoming tasks. Lin Hao remained silent. When Agatha stopped talking, he then checked his attributes by summoning the panel, uttering Agatha Nicholas' name. He already had a class but was still level 0 with 3 strength, 3 physique, 2 agility, and 8 points mentality. For Lin Hao, this panel looks like a knockoff of his game player skill. While thinking, he heard Xiaoyan's voice calling him a little mouse. He smiled upon seeing the lady and seemed like the lady was in a rush toward him. Xiaoyan suddenly held Lin Hao's wrist and asked her how was the instance he entered and if he was hurt. Lin Hao was about to answer, but then he heard the spider matriarch chirping, so he was flustered, wondering if the matriarch was angry. He rattled as he concluded that the matriarch could still sense things in reality even after entering the shadow. In theory, the spider matriarch's favorability should not drop anymore, and she also signed a contract with him, so he believes it is impossible for a backlash or any terrible consequences to occur. Besides, he won't mysteriously lose the ability to give commands. He then pulled his hand from Xiao and reminded her that that ancient god said that the instance for the first mission is specially adjusted so there wouldn't be any casualties. Lin Hao doesn't want to anger the spider matriarch, so he could avoid any risks. Xiaoyan agreed with him. However, she could not deny the fact that she was just worried for his sake. But man, that instance was really scary. If it weren't for thinking about how my sister needed my help, I might have been eliminated right from the start, Lin Hao said. He was also thinking that having more friends means more options. Knowing that Lin Xiaoyan is very friendly and capable, he can't just give up on her easily. Xiaoyan then asked him how many points he got from the instance, and she proudly said she scored 40 points. He then replied that he hadn't had the chance to check it yet, so he doesn't know. He then opened his panel and tapped the points information. But then, it turned out that he didn't get any points and his rank was at 3051. He was confused as to why he didn't get any if he had cleared the dungeon. He then concludes that he can only get points by killing enemies and not by completing tasks. It was so unfair for him. Plus, there was even a ranking system on the points interface, and because of this, he believes that the rule encouraged competition, and with this, he can say that the ancient god was a greedy capitalist. He then informed Xiaoan that his score was 0, ranked 3051. Xiaoan then told him not to worry as she believed that the ancient god still recognized Lin Hao's effort he put into the instance since the ancient god still put him in the middle rank. Lin Hao just smiled while checking the ranking and he found out that Xiaoan was ranked 1214. He continued to check the rankings and figured out that Wai Kai had 110 points and was ranked 10. He was surprised by it and immediately informed Xiaoan. Xiaoan was shocked upon knowing it. She was about to say something but there was a thing that stopped her from saying it. Lin Hao stares at her believing that the lady really had thoughts of Wai Kai being the rank 10th. Xiaoan then told him that she came to find him just to talk about something. According to him, Wai Kai not only scored many points on the instance but also recruited a lot of followers. In this strange world, she believes that sticking together is essential for survival. She came to Lin Hao just to bring him along knowing that Wai Kai is strong and they will be safer with him since he's a skilled Muay Thai fighter. Xiaoyan grabbed Lin Hao's hand and said, "Come on, let's go together with sister and brother Wai around. I promise you'll be safe." Lin Hao didn't resist but he was thinking about the date. He saw that Wai Kai's stats were just slightly higher than Lin Xiaoyan's, yet he earned so many points. He remembered Xiaoyan mentioned that Wai Kai recruited quite a few followers too, so he concluded Wai Kai might be using a special tactic. He stares at the lady believing that it is just a hassle as he concludes that Xiaoyan might not even be able to save herself. Being how friendly Xiaoyan has always been toward him, if something really happens, he can't just ignore it, which is why he decided to come with her to check it out. Wai Kai was in the area where there were no people. They are a total of 4 men discussing something. When he heard someone come, he then turned his head around. He saw it was Xiaoyan and Lin Hao. "Miss, this is the last time I'll call you miss, you should be aware," he said, which shocked Xiaoyan. As per Wai Kai, under the present circumstances, all previous identities and positions are no longer relevant. Xiaoyan was mad as she never expected it to happen. In this instance, that well-dressed guy used to be a lawyer, a high-class person, yet he ended up begging by my side like a dog. In this world, only strength is truly reliable. Wai Kai added. Xiaoyan uttered his name and pointed her finger at him while claiming that she noticed something was off about him in the instance. She witnessed Wai Kai driving the old, weak women and children to lure spiders so he could kill more of them himself just to earn points. Back then, she remembered Wai Kai said it was to perform better. She didn't agree, but she had to accept his approach. Right now, she was mad and asked Wai Kai what exactly he wanted to do, but she already knew that Wai Kai's intention is to use strength to gain more. Wai Kai pointed at the people behind him proudly saying that these men were already prepared to follow his loyalty. His voice stuttered while asking Xiaoyan to be his woman. Both Xiaoyan and Lin Hao were shocked upon hearing it. They never thought that Wai Kai had feelings towards Xiaoyan. Wai Kai claimed that they would become the most capable subordinates of the ancient god, and surely gain benefits beyond their wildest dreams with the skills demonstrated by the ancient god. Brother Wai, I truly didn't expect you to suddenly turn out like this. Do men reveal their true nature once they lose the constraints of rules? After all, we were raised in a civilized society. Just a few hours, can we really embrace the brutal concepts of survival of the fittest so easily? Xiaoyan replied with anger. She was clenching her hand, but Lin Hao suddenly held her and told her that these few people right in front of them were bad. But he was sure he wouldn't turn out like them. At the same time, he was thinking that Wai Kai has become very arrogant, and he's not sure if Wai Kai has always like this and hid it well, or if Xiaoyan was just too trusting. Because of what he said, Xiaoyan finally smiled back and calmed down. On the other hand, Wai Kai opened the panel to check Lin Hao's points. Then, he teased him the moment he saw Lin Hao only had 0 points. A loser who can only survive by pleasing women in society. Even in a civilized society, such vermin still have a chance to cling on for survival in this brutal world. Wai Kai stated. He also proclaimed that Lin Hao doesn't have the value to survive. Xiaoyan then told him that he was going too far for insulting someone like a kid. Xiaoyan, this isn't going too far, this is reality. Your strength isn't bad either, together with me, we can get more good stuff. Wai Kai replied. He also tries to make the lady realize that she's just too soft-heated. And for him, bringing such dead weight only slows down their mission completion. This has nothing to do with you. Since you've swelled up like this, we'll have to go our separate ways from now on. Goodbye, Xiaoyan said, holding Lin Hao's hand and planning to walk away. But then Wai Kai stopped them. They looked back at him and saw him walk closer to them and said, Zioan, with your talent and being the one I love, do you think I'd just stand by and let you go? His aura this time is a bit scary. His eyes were glazing, but Zioan still didn't care about him and warned him not to do anything since fratricide should be forbidden in the ancient god's main city. Kai then told her that he could only secure the 10th rank in points among these 5,000 people clearly with the strength he has, and he believes there are hidden dragons and crouching tigers amongst the participants. Since he had strength, he believed that they could achieve more if he and Zioan combined together. Zioan then told him to dream, as she believed that Kai would only make her his stepping stone once she became useless to him. She then declared that she would not be teaming up with Kai no matter what. That's not for you to decide. In the ancient god's main city, even if fratricide is forbidden, it doesn't mean I can't. Once it becomes a done deal, you'll have to obey me anyway, right? Kai answered. Zioan was shaking in anger, saying that Kai has no shame at all. She then took a step, pulling Lin Hao with her while saying that Kai is a crazy guy, so they must leave. She also believes that Kai cannot do anything with them once they reach the main street. Zioan, if it were just you running alone, maybe you could actually make it, Kai uttered. Both Zioan and Lin Hao ran as fast as they could, but then Kai chased them. He jumped so high and reached above Lin Hao and Zioan. Dragging this dead weight, neither of you can escape, he uttered, and landed in the middle of Zioan and Lin Hao. Zioan knew that there was a great chance she could escape, but then she didn't want to leave Lin Hao alone, knowing that Kai was capable of doing anything. At this moment, Kai said the same thing against Zioan is a soft-hearted lady who, even in such a situation, still cares about a loser. He looked at Lin Hao while telling the lady to understand that in today's world, being soft-hearted is useless. Kai then pointed at Lin Hao, telling his followers to kill the kid. One of the men was hesitant as he was afraid that they might get punished for killing someone inside the main city. What consequence could there be? The ancient god never said you can't kill in the main city. Besides, a zero-pointer like him, I doubt the ancient god would bother to protect. Kai said. Lin Hao acts like he's scared while telling the men that it is too cruel to kill a helpless kid. Since they were in the main city, he wondered if summoning the spider matriarch to finish these men off would lead to any punishment. The men were very determined to kill him since it was the order of their boss Kai. On the other hand, Zioan was worried for him and wanted to help him, but Kai stopped her from moving. Kai told her to watch how Lin Hao was tormented by his men, and with that, he was sure that the lady would understand what kind of world they were in right now. Even if there was a punishment for killing, Lin Hao couldn't just let these men kill him and end up dying together. Since that is the case, I don't feel stressed about it anymore, he uttered, and immediately summoned the spider matriarch. A strong purple light emerges together with the lady spider. The spider then summoned her weapon and bravely stood in front of Lin Hao. Lin Hao then told the men to prepare themselves to tremble in fear. Upon witnessing what just happened, Zioan and Kai were speechless. The other men were also scared, knowing that this spider monster was from the instance. One of them immediately ran away, but then the spider matriarch saw him escaping, so she immediately cast an attack, making the men shiver. The spider matriarch then attacked the men in front of them, ending up killing them all. And since she was the only one who killed the enemies, Lin Hao then said that there was no punishment at all. Got rid of these minions, the big boss, I won't let you slip through my fingers, he uttered. The spider matriarch then faced Kai. Was confused as to why Lin Hao was able to summon a spider monster. He also cannot believe that this spider was helping Lin Hao kill people. He observes the spider and concludes that she has a speed and strength way beyond those common spider monsters in the instance. And he believes that he's definitely not on her level. He suddenly kneeled on the ground and admitted his mistake. I was wrong, Lin Hao, please show mercy and spare me, he said, and Zioan was surprised by his changing behavior. At the same time, Lin Hao believes that Kai is a formidable enemy for being flexible and adaptable. Kai then claimed that Lin Hao wasn't a loser but a powerful kid. He begged Lin Hao to consider his words earlier as nonsense and let him go. He looked at Zioan and told her to look at the years he had been in her side, catching thieves for her and even carrying her bags. But then, Zioan smacked him and asked him how he dares mention those things. She admitted that she had been blind not to see that Kai is such a scum. She was continuously punching Kai, stating that this guy is the worst kind of person, arrogant, insincere, lowly, and shameless. She strongly kicked him while saying that it made her furious just thinking about how she trusted him. Kai flew away from the trash can. Zioan cleaned her hands and said, to stand tall and face death bravely is what makes a man. Look at yourself now, do you even look like a man? Kai was full of bruises and lumps after receiving several punches from Zioan. Xiaoan then walked away from him while saying that he was a disgusting guy. Lin Hao was impressed seeing Xiaoan toppling the muscular man of over 200 pounds with a single kick. For him, Xiaoan is not only kind-hearted but also despite evil with a straightforward attitude. He then claimed that he was right that having a partner like Xiaoan in this world is essential. Xiaoan approached him and apologized for dragging him into danger. She admitted her mistake. She said that she was planning to help Lin Hao escape no matter what, but she was grateful that it was no longer necessary. At this moment, Wai Kai was in pain. Xiaoan then asked Lin Hao what he plans to do with Wai Kai. Lin Hao believes that they shouldn't keep a guy who is flexible and adaptable as well as ambitious. Wai Kai is still begging him to let go and he lies that he cannot compete with Lin Hao even without the lady spider with him. The system interface appeared, informing him that Wai Kai was hostile against him. The prompt states that although Wai Kai is begging for mercy, in his heart, he's thinking about how to crush Lin Hao completely, and the system suggests Lin Hao to crush this guy to death and be done with it. Lin Hao was annoyed after knowing that Wai Kai was trying to deceive him by begging. At this point, the spider matriarch walked toward Wai Kai. Wai Kai is begging her not to move closer, while Xiaoan at the same time wonders if Lin Hao really wants to kill Wai Kai. But then, she was aware that what Wai Kai did was too much, and she believes she has no reason to ask Lin Hao to spare Wai Kai since Wai Kai really shows a murderous intent towards Lin Hao. If there's anyone to blame, she concludes it should be the ancient god who turned every decent person into a devil. She was thinking too much, which was noticed by Lin Hao. Lin Hao smiled knowing that the lady still wanted to forgive Wai Kai. He then said, "Brother Wai Kai has already been punished by Sister Yun, and I can see how sincerely he is apologizing, so I think, let's just move on." Wai Kai nodded since he agreed with Lin Hao. But still, the spider matriarch continued to approach Wai Kai. Lin Hao then concludes that the spider herself wanted to make a move against Wai Kai. Wai Kai was sweating and nervous. "Brother Wai Kai, please don't have any killing intent towards me. I made a contract with Sister Spider by chance. She will attack anything that wants to harm me, and I can't really control her," Lin Hao said. And hearing it made Wai Kai puzzled. The spider matriarch still moved closer to him. He kneeled on the ground and claimed that it was just a misunderstanding, and he lied that he had no killing intent toward Lin Hao. The spider matriarch raised her hand with the weapon, and seeing her movement made Wai Kai terrified. He didn't know that Lin Hao was looking forward to seeing him dying and reuniting with his followers. But then, the ancient god appeared and stopped the spider. Agatha reminded them that her warriors must not harm each other within this space. Lin Hao stared at Agatha and saw the interface prompt telling him not to worry since even he had already violated Agatha's rules. Given her friendly attitude towards him, it was no big deal at all. Lin Hao was confused as to why the ancient god didn't stop them earlier from killing the three men. Right? Since we're all warriors of the ancient god, why should we fight each other? Long live the ancient god, I am forever your most loyal servant, Wai Kai said. Lin Hao was annoyed and decided to use the spider matriarch to test what the ancient god limit to him. The spider matriarch swung her weapon and Lin Hao then screamed, trying to stop her, but he communicated with her through telepathy, telling her to kill Wai Kai for him. Agatha then repeated that harming each other is forbidden. Wai Kai was shaking in fear. He even pees unintentionally. The spider matriarch paused because of the ancient god's power stopping her. Hey, can't move now, right? Weren't you feeling all-powerful just a moment ago? With the ancient god here, you dare to be so bold as a mere spider monster, Wai Kai confidently said. He then uttered the ancient god's name and reported that Lin Hao had already committed the act of killing warriors of the ancient god and even killed 3 in a row. "Oh, great ancient god, please impose divine punishment on him," he uttered. Right now, Lin Hao confirmed that the ancient god only stopped the spider matriarch and didn't attack him at all. He then concludes that it is the limit, but for now, the attitude of the ancient god remains friendly, so he is sure there shouldn't be any major problems. At this moment, Xiaoyan stares at Lin Hao. She felt sad for him, believing that Lin Hao doesn't have full control over the spider monster. Great ancient god, although Lin Hao is not the direct murderer of those 3 lives, this despicable spider monster cannot escape responsibility. Please eliminate this spider monster immediately. Otherwise, I can't imagine how many more people this bloodthirsty monster will kill, Wai Kai said. He then looked at Lin Hao, thinking that without the spider monster's protection, Lin Hao cannot still act so cocky. For him, it's not just about killing anyone. He was thinking of many ways to deal with Lin Hao later on. Great ancient god, I didn't know the rules before. Plus, just now, Brother Waikai had killing intent towards me all along, which is why Sister Spider took action, Lin Hao said, and the ancient god became silent for a moment. She then said that the rule that warriors in this space cannot harm each other will be enforced from now on. Waikai was shocked upon hearing it. He cannot believe that the ancient god is not punishing Lin Hao. He also wondered what luck Lin Hao had in controlling spider monsters. Because of this, he concludes that Lin Hao was cheating. Lin Hao walked toward the spider while saying that there would be no one's going to hurt him now, so he permitted the spider to go back to his shadow. The spider then listened to him without any words and vanished, then entered his shadow. Thanks to the ancient god, no one will get hurt anymore, Lin Hao uttered. He also told Xiaoyan that they were now safe. Waikai at the same time cannot accept that Lin Hao cannot be punished. He is full of anger since 3 of his minions are dead and Lin Hao got away with nothing and can continue to roam freely with the spider monster with him. He clenched his fist and he trembled in anger. Ancient god, you can't be so unjust. Otherwise, how can these 5,000 warriors be effectively controlled? He screamed, and all of a sudden, he got struck by a strong lightning. He was screaming in pain while both Lin Hao and Xiaoyan stared at him. Waikai was too weak at this time. His body was smoking and his clothes were ripped off. He then collapsed and sank to the ground. Xiaoyan was confused as to why the ancient god blashed Waikai, and Lin Hao then answered that it may be because Waikai was too ugly. He then stares at Waikai to check the prompt. The prompt stated that due to dissatisfaction with the rules set by the ancient god, Waikai was lucky to survive a casual punishment from the ancient god, although he can't beat Lin Hao's spider monster. But Lin Hao should watch out for overturning in the gutter. Remember, my warriors in this space are forbidden from harming each other, Agatha said, and Lin Hao then thinks that it's no big deal to kill outside. Little mouse, what's the deal with that spider monster just now? Are you controlling it? Xiaoyan asked. Lin Hao then replied, I don't know. In the instance, it was indeed because of good luck that Sister Spider recognized me as her master. He also lied that he didn't want to kill anyone and wanted to run away, but he couldn't just leave Xiaoyan alone. Sister Yun has been so kind to me. I must protect her at all costs. I just want Spider Sister to come out and help, he added. Xiaoyan then held his hand and told him not to be scared since she believed he hadn't done anything wrong, and she believes those men's death are their own fault. Xiaoyan then believes that Lin Hao fought the men for her sake and was forced to summon the spider monster. Because of Lin Hao's help, she feels guilty since she was the one who promised to protect him. Lin Hao was smiling, thinking that what he said would keep the lady from thinking he was dark-minded. Death penalty can be pardoned, but living sins are inescapable. Those who previously violated the rules will now receive their punishment, Agatha suddenly said. Lin Hao was shocked upon hearing it as he thought that the ancient god was really on his side. All of a sudden, he got possessed by a shimmering light and vanished. Xiaoyan panicked and wanted to reach him, but then he was completely gone. She stares up above and is hoping that Lin Hao is safe. Lin Hao disappeared in just a short period of time and transmitted back to the main city. He exited from a portal and dropped to the ground. He was sweating. He was panting. The spider matriarch then helped him to stand. He was confused, thinking that the ancient god was truly unpredictable, saying they wouldn't pursue it but suddenly doing so. He then told himself that he better be more careful in the future, though his body is fine. He suddenly coughed and then touched the spider's head, knowing that the spider matriarch also suffered a lot because of him and endured all that happened inside him. I can't imagine what I would do without you, he said. He then looked around and looked for Xiaoyan without knowing that the spider patriarch became annoyed and felt envious. They then heard the ancient god's voice calling everyone's attention. He then smiled, wondering what the ancient god would say this time. As per Agatha, she has one more thing to inform all the warriors before announcing their first official mission. She told everyone to pay attention and everyone then became quiet. According to Agatha, all of the participants should use the Ancient God panel feature and discovered the existence of instance points. Instance points are essentially an evaluation of their performance in this instance, and the way points are calculated varies with each mission. For example, a newbie mission only counts the number of monsters they defeated. And here, points are almost everything. Agatha summoned something while saying that the concept of a money no longer exists in this space. Spatial portals then appeared in the middle of where the people standing. As per Agatha, to obtain anything here, participants must pay with an equivalent amount of points. Whether it's common essentials or unique, hard-to-find items, or everything that can redeemed with points. Agatha has observed that humans are social creatures, and grouping together to divide tasks is both their favorite and most efficient method of operation. Therefore, she has specially set up the system so that points can be transferred between individuals, also activated by thought confirmation, hoping that participants will make good use of it. There were some who liked the idea, but there were some who disliked it. Agatha added that this building, including the shopping space she set up, is the participants' permanent headquarters. This place is their residence, their supply stations, and the starting point for each mission. During mission hours, no outside objects are allowed in this area. However, it's important to remember that there are still potential dangers here. And now for their mission, they will set it out. They suddenly float somewhere else while Agatha declares that their mission will be in the Myriad Realms, an unknown brand new world. Agatha stated that this world, and indeed all worlds participants would encounter henceforth, are completely different from any they have seen before. A system window appeared informing them that the biological activity frequency of this mission is medium and it is a survival and exploration. The environmental conditions, world ID, and survival difficulty are still unknown. Agatha added that this refers not only to the types of life but also their strength, even the forms that constitute life, and the fundamental laws that make up the world will differ. They will start from this place, and they have 2 Earth months to progressively delve deeper, gathering more information about this world. This phase's points will be divided into exploration and hunting categories, and after surviving for a certain period, everyone will also receive basic survival points. Agatha warned them not to think about hiding at the starting points, and those who hadn't earned any hunting or exploration points within 48 hours would be forcibly eliminated. The people who are 0 points are trembling in fear, questioning Agatha why this happened to them. As per Agatha, there won't be such a thing as coming back from the dead anymore. All their experiences here are real and irreversible. Of course, the merciful her wouldn't send her beloved warriors to their deaths, so she granted them 3 hours to rest and regroup. Once the time is up, the barrier outside will open, and their mission will officially begin. There are men who notice things inside the building. They all then run inside while hearing Agatha telling them to enjoy the rare leisure time, whether it's for rest or resupply. The people started entering the spatial portal and some of them were excited, hoping to get good stuff. Lin Hao was not in a hurry at all since he didn't have any points to exchange from the spatial portal. At this point, he believes that death is a real possibility in this world if they're not careful. Without any points, Lin Hao really has no confidence at all. He walked somewhere else and unexpectedly saw Wai Kai on the corner sitting on the box while putting bandages on his wounds. Wai Kai then saw him, and he then realized that he could always get someone else to do it if he ran out of points. He smiled staring at Wai Kai since his plan was to use this guy. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you wish to have another part of this recap, please give us at least 2,000 likes. Please don't forget to comment and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Until next time.